Tibby's story really starts when she meets Bailey. Hey, not right now. We're doing a movie review. Stop it.
Welcome to this Wondery Plus exclusive episode of New Heights, a Wondery show produced by Wave Sports and Entertainment. If you're hearing this right now, you're one of our most dedicated 92%ers. So thank you so much for always tuning in to our nonsense here. And of course, thanks for subscribing to Wondery Plus.
Thank you. Today, we're excited to debut the first ever meeting of the New Heights Film Club, and you are invited.
You're a part of it.
As you probably saw on the last couple of episodes, we asked the 92%ers for suggestions for the first movie for us to review, and you guys let us down majorly. You chose that we had to watch The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. This might be the last one that is an open election. We're still deciding.
Yep, this is, we have taken it out of your control. I will be the one that says that Jason was correct. We should have never forced ourselves to watch this. I thought it was going to be funny to do this. You know, just initial thoughts. Jason, you want to give just initial thoughts before we go into it? So
I will say, not a bad film.
No, not a bad film.
It's hard to relate, but I think for a movie in this age range, surprising level of acting, I thought, for the film. It was well done.
Yes.
Blake Lively, America Ferrara kills it as Carmen, Alexis Bledel, and Amber Tamblyn.
Our boy from Billy Madison.
That's right. Was the bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, was the dad.
Dad who was an interesting dad.
Interesting dad. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting movie, a coming of age story that kept my attention enough. As we talked about in the lead-in, the pants really didn't have much to do with the plot. I'm a little bit upset that the pants were the storyline. I see what you're saying.
Kinda.
Kylie told me
they were tied into, the adventures of everyone. And that's what really tied all the stories together, I feel like.
I didn't feel like they did a damn thing. I was just like, listen, you don't need the pants. It was kind of just a reason for them to be in a club, even though they had been friends. And then Kylie's like, you idiot. It's a symbol that their friends are always with them. And I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. I guess I kind of get the pants, but I wanted the pants to be more of a major part of it. I wanted them to be like actually have magic in some way. And when they didn't, and they were just a pair of like jeggings that fit everybody's shape.
Yeah. And everyone had just a specific thing that happened to them when they had them on.
Like they were just mind blowing that these things there's like the first pair of pants that had like spandex in it or something like that in 2005.
The stretchy
and they were
ones.
like, wow, how do we all fit these jeans? It's called stretchy jeans and they've just been invented. So get used to it, girls. All right. So let's get to the movie.
Let's do it.
Released in 2005, this film is an adaptation of a novel of the same name. Obviously, there's actually a series of books. I don't know if there were any more movies made after this one. I didn't care to research that. There is a sequel. Okay, nice. It is also the film debut of our friend Blake Lively.
Nice.
Which she killed it. Did absolutely wonderful as Bridget.
Killed it. I might have been a little biased, but I thought Bridget's story was the most relatable and probably the most fun.
You thought it was the most relatable?
Yeah.
I was out on Bridget's story. I felt bad for Bridget.
How many times did we go to sporting camps in the summer?
That's a good point. We were very connected.
It was like nostalgia watching that, like thinking about like being the one in like going to Camp R, going to, these camps.
John Carroll's sports camp.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
We're going to dive into each character a little bit more. Let's start with the plot first. The plot is there's 4 girls. They're getting nervous because they're all about to leave each other coming out of high school. They are at a thrift shop. They find a pair of pants. Somehow they all fit the pants. Even though that's ridiculous because they aren't all the same shape or size.
Yeah. Well, that's the magic of the pants. Everybody looks great in them.
And luckily, hopefully nobody gets a BBL and then they still fit the pants. But I think BBL
the pants,
anyways, they end up making a club and it's really just a reason for them to send these pants to each other and keep in touch. There's all these rules. We're not going to get into the rules because that's not really that big of a deal. But they make all these rules. They wear the pants. And then they go about their lives. 3 of the girls are traveling. Bridget is at a soccer camp in Mexico, which 17-year-old at a soccer camp in Mexico, right away you question the dad's decision making there. But either way, obviously Lena is in Greece with her family, grandmother and grandfather. Carmen goes to visit her dad, who no longer lives with them. And poor Tibby is left all to her own in the area that they all grew up.
I would imagine that everybody, or at least the girls and the women that were growing up watching this movie that could really, really relate to this, everybody wanted to be Lena. Because that was the romance. You go to Greece and
I'm with you.
You kind of get it.
It was the most relatable. It was the most relatable by far.
Or at least the one like situation that they would want to see themselves in.
It was the most like loving. It was like an archetype, right? Like this was Romeo and Juliet at its finest.
Yep.
The boys from a rival gang or whatever, rival fishermen, however that freaking transpired. But like she's forbidden to see him. So there's this whole back and forth, and it's I think that's the one that I think is just like a tried and true dynamic that I think has worked multiple times in literature and movies. Bridget's off in soccer camp. Anyways, the whole plot is these pants, they keep sending me to each other. They're keeping in touch. They all have each other's back. And at the end of the movie, each character has gone through their trials and tribulations, and they're back together again, united as friends.
Of course.
But there's a lot of growth that happened. The real story of this movie is the growth that each character goes through in a coming of age tale and how they each evolve into young adulthood.
Yeah.
So I think we got to go character by character. I think that's the way to go. First of all, did you have a character that you identified the most with?
We just mentioned.
Oh, so you already
Bridget.
said Lena.
Yeah. No, Bridget. I think
Bridget.
Lena.
You said Bridget.
You
said
Bridget
most people are going to say Lena.
Yes.
You said Bridget.
Yes.
Bridget. So Bridget, you kind of were like
I don't know
Bridget.
if most people say I think most people would want to be in Lena's situation.
Fair. You're not okay. That's
the most relatable is probably Bridget and Tibby.
Yeah, Tibby's listen, we grew up with a lot of Tibbys in Cleveland Heights.
We knew at least 100 Tibbys growing up. Yeah. We're very artsy.
That's the daughter of two former hippies.
Yep.
Kind of feels like they never really had a childhood. Like they use words and language that you're like, what? How old are you? Like Tibby says, they like, even in like the early movie, she's like, she mentions being the daughter of two hippies. And I'm like, what kind of 11-year-old says that? I don't
How do you even know what a hippie is at 11 years old?
She's like very disconnected, I feel like, from being a kid. And she still uses words that are way above her pay grade, which is impressive with Tibby. I think I identified probably a mix between Tibby and I kind of identified with Lena. I feel like it took me a while to feel as comfortable in my own skin. Now I'm certainly there, but I was a little, no. Carmen, definitely not Carmen. To be honest, I didn't identify with any of them.
Yeah.
I identified with Costas. Costas is the man. That was the best character in the whole book of male characters.
Well, yeah, the best male figure, I see it. Yeah.
Let's get into each one. Who do we want to start with? Bridget?
Sure.
All right. I took notes.
Of course you did. You're an AP student. You take notes. That's what you do.
Bridget, she kind of struck me, obviously tall, strong, bold, beautiful, athletic. Yep. Obviously, she's at soccer camp. Yep. The oldest of the group, her mother, obviously, suicides herself early in the film, and she just starts running. And a lot of the movie is just Bridget running. It's a lot of running.
It's her running, and
I gotta admit, not the best run.
Girl,
Blake, I love you. Blake, it's not the most. Does not strike me as a star athlete run.
But it was impressive that she has good endurance though, because to be running like that and to be talking. 100%. You know the scene on the beach. I was like, I would be fucking gassed and be way worse at trying to spit my lines out if I was running while talking. Like
1,000%.
Typically, I'm doing short sprints. Like over distance, I don't know how you could just have a conversation running like that.
Well, I agree 1,000%. Very impressive. She runs so far. She ends up at a soccer camp in Mexico, which, by the way, not a chance in hell that Wyatt is going to be in a soccer camp in Mexico.
I remember Dad. I got really excited. My dad, when I was up in Niagara Falls playing in a tournament in hockey, said that there were some interest. Scouts would go to these, and it's not like NHL scouts. This is like junior league, like basically high school scouts for Canada, would go to these hockey tournaments and see if they see any good American players or any good like middle school kids that would be, or at least have a chance at making a team in junior hockey up in Canada. And Dad told me that there was a guy that asked about me, and it was probably more so because of my size than it was anything else. And Dad was like, "You think you're leaving the house at 13? You can barely fucking make it going in the house. You think you're gonna leave? You think you're gonna make it getting out of it? Not a chance you're leaving this house."
So good. So good.
So funny. So to send someone to Mexico for a camp.
Yeah. It felt a little bit egregious.
Especially for an entire summer.
All right. She's at this soccer camp. She meets a camp director, or as you're calling. So he was a coach. I thought he was
he's a coach. She got assigned to that what's his name?
Eric.
Nick. Eric. She got assigned to Eric's team, so he was her coach.
Well, when I first watched the movie, one of the things I really liked about it is that there's not really any like good and evil character. Like there's not like the bully and then the victim. Like there's not that dynamic that I think you see a lot in like kids movies. Or just movies in general. Like it's very like, oh, I hate this character. I love this character. It feels like everything's just kind of very real. Like it's like a real life. You got to figure out what's happening.
Figuring out, yeah.
Yeah. And it's very much works with the coming of age tale. But then I kind of thought about this Eric's character more. And I mean, I think he's about as evil as it gets.
Yeah. I just feel like what's their name? Carmen's father is the most evil to me.
I mean, he's bad too.
And that was the biggest twist I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Like when he went and got her at the airport and he brought her home to a completely new family. How the fuck
Hold on. We're sticking with Bridget. We're sticking with Bridget. I'm with you though. I'm with you. Let me explain why Eric is the bigger piece of shit.
Why?
He literally tells her, when you turn 20 years old, give me a call. What are we doing?
Jesus.
This was Bridget had the saddest story. I felt terrible for Bridget. She got taken advantage of.
Yeah, I hear you.
Bridget was definitely the saddest story. I didn't really see any bright side in the Bridget story. Which one are we going to next?
Let's just go down the line of the list right here. Go Lena.
Lena was the best story.
Yeah, Lena was the most fun story. Like you said, it was the story of, the Romeo Juliet. She goes to Greece, finds out that her entire family, what is it? It's like the fishermen.
Yeah.
And the gentleman that helps her out of the fucking water, that saves her life.
Yeah, she falls into the water, which, I mean, dude, she almost met her demise right there. I mean, the movie almost ended in Greece. She's sitting in a chair. She's sitting in a chair, and she starts looking around and seeing all these people in love. And then she sees this guy with his shirt off, and she starts wobbling in her chair. She's getting so hot and bothered. And she falls into the sea. She falls into the sea, apparently can't swim, which I don't know how we're that close without a life jacket to the sea. Falls in, gets stuck on a rod underwater. Thankfully, this guy's Costas is around to save her.
Costas comes
he gets her out of the water.
Like a mermaid.
Like a merman. And saves the day. I mean, the movie might have been over because she had the pants. Those pants, if she would have died right there, pants probably never make it out of Greece. This is a 30-minute film.
Which also goes back to kind of it's a little disgusting. They don't wash the pants. That's like one of the rules. They're not allowed to wash the pants.
Well, I don't know if they all agreed on that. That was the rule that Carmen suggested.
I believe that's an official rule.
It is an official rule. Okay, they did officially say that.
Official rule. I'm sorry.
Well,
yeah, I get it. Washing jeans, not all the time, but eventually you gotta eventually throw those things in there.
But when multiple people are wearing them, I mean, you're just asking for jungle rot. You're just asking for it. It's going to happen. It's a lot of bacteria in those pants. You don't want to be mixing bacteria. The best way to get a staph infection is sharing towels. And that's what they tell you in the training room.
That's exactly.
You can't be mixing bacteria.
This is true.
Everybody's microbiome is different.
There you go. Right.
Lena, quiet, reserved, shy, agreeable.
You're hilarious.
Thrust into a position of having to make her own decisions, falling for a boy that her family disapproves of and forbids her to see. But she trusts and thinks for herself, taking autonomy over her own life. It helps that this boy is easily the best male character in the movie. I mean, bar none. This guy's Rico Suave.
I mean, he's a lifesaver, and he speaks Greek.
He's a lifesaver. He's playful yet serious, romantic. He jokes. He compliments her, reinforces Lena's skill of artistry. Lena, obviously afraid of the way she feels and worried about embarking on something that could hurt her, finally succumbs to the feeling of love that becomes overwhelming for Costas. This is the Romeo and Juliet storyline of the film. Costas has an all-time line: "Why should arguments of old men concern us?" Love that line from a man, Costas. This storyline comes to a head when she's talking to her grandfather and letting him know how he feels, which is one of the crying. Was one of the cry-worthy moments of the film. I think there were a couple. I can't find out where I wrote that down, but I had her interaction with the grandpa after they forbid her to see him. They found out that she's still seeing him. They're ashamed of her. They told her no, and she's been this shy, reserved character her whole life. And now all of a sudden she stands up for herself, and she sees herself through the eyes of her grandfather, who obviously operates under similar personality. And she pleads with him to finally let herself be seen in that way. I thought was a remarkable moment for the journey of that character, and for her grandfather to trust her, even though everything in his being is saying, I fucking hate that family. Like, that would be like, I'm trying to think of like a family that's like, if Wyatt came to me and was like, I love this guy's son. I'm like, don't you fucking talk to that motherfucker. I know the dad. He's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
But Costas is great. Costas is a great character.
I love that the entire movie you're just putting your daughters in these like different situations.
Oh, that's all I'm thinking of.
Tell me about Tibby.
All right, Tibby. Oh,
Tibby, I thought was
I will say this. Lena did have one of my least favorite scenes. The scene where she's on the pier.
It's like the whole movie.
She has that's a good point. But she has the inner dialogue where it really it feels a little contrived, where she like tells you exactly how she's feeling about Costas and all this. And it's like, it feels like, yeah, we already know that. We can tell that.
This is
we
when
don't
she's
need
writing?
you to say
Is
it
she in
that
the
transparent.
diary?
It kind of comes off like that. She's writing in the diary, but it feels like it's too much. It's too much. I like when the films are a little bit less, more symbolic with that stuff.
They don't tell you straight up.
She takes her clothes off. That's the symbolism of, okay, now this shy, reserved girl is exposing herself to the world, like symbolically and figuratively, of like, okay, now I'm ready and comfortable to be who I am. And then Costas joins her in the sea by jumping in with her.
They don't want the kids missing it, like you missed the whole point of the pants.
That's a good point. I could have used some explaining on the pants. I think they tried to explain the pants, and I was like, these pants are fucking stupid. I don't know why everybody's fired up about these jeans.
I'm pretty sure they said it. We'll just pass them around so that we can all feel like we're with each other in the summer. Tibby, I thought was the funnest one because they had the most humor in it because of her story with the little girl too. Yeah,
the little girl was awesome. Bailey, this was easily the most gut-wrenching storyline in the movie.
Yeah.
Tibby, the rebellious one of the group, marches to the beat of her own drum. Daughter of former hippies. We have a lot of friends growing up in Cleveland Heights that we can identify with that were a part of this. It feels like she never really had the standard childhood. It feels like she's older for some reason than the rest of the girls.
Yeah,
is somewhat like jaded from like her family. And you don't get that explained that much other than I think her family.
Just how she acts.
I think it's like her parents were young when they had her. So they weren't necessarily ready to like be suburbanite like parents. I feel like that's what it kind of, I don't know. The only one who is left behind in her town as the other three girls are out on adventures. It's clear she resents the fact that she is still left all alone with a family she doesn't feel connected to and a community she feels like an outcast in.
Yeah.
Tibby's story really starts when she meets Bailey. Hey, not right now. We're doing a movie review. Stop it.
Nice.
Tibby's story really starts when she meets a girl while working at, I don't know if the wall, it's kind of trying to be Walmart or Walgreens.
Yeah, some type of convenience store or stocking shelves. Yeah.
She's working there and Bailey comes along. Tibby clearly mad about her lot in life. She's putting stickers on her head. She hates what she's doing. And then all of a sudden she finds this girl passed out and gets her to the hospital. And slowly they build a bond. They build a bond, and she eventually ends up finding out, as the plot twists, that poor Bailey has cancer and she's dying. I think this was easily the saddest story of the lot.
Of course, yeah.
And Tibby being someone who hates kind of where she's at in life and kind of the circumstances she's been thrust into, now sees, hey, it ain't always as bad as you think it is.
You start to appreciate it a little bit more.
There's nothing like a good slap in the face to remind you that no matter how hard you think you have it, it could always be worse. And to be thankful for what you have and the moments you get with the ones you love the most.
Well said, brother. Well said.
All right.
Tell me about Carmen.
Carmen. What do you think about Carmen?
Carmen was she was one of my favorite characters because she had feistiness. One of my favorite scenes was
1,000%.
She had the scene when she was playing tennis, and you could tell that she was releasing a lot of her frustration from what she just experienced with her father and this new family and everything on like sports. And that was very relatable for me because there's times where I'm man, I'm fucking pissed, but I got football to be able to go to work and just hit something. Yeah. Just feel some contact, release some aggression. That's half a reason why I like playing golf. I just like hitting the ball as hard as I fucking can in a very peaceful setting. There's joy in hitting things and doing things and releasing that I don't know, tension that you might have. And she was beating Paul's ass in that fucking. Yeah.
Well, listen, Bridget is the athlete, but based on that tennis match, I mean, Carmen could have been the next Serena. That was an impressive. The sequence of events that led to Paul getting smacked in the face was. I don't even know how that happened. That was damn good. So good. It was another sad story. I mean, deadbeat father. Who doesn't like? Deadbeat dads. It's just a bad look. What is wrong with this?
It's just a bad look.
Like, I get that there's divorce, but like, how can you be so disconnected that you don't? I mean, I guess he was probably ashamed, didn't want to tell her about the new family and love that he had to make her uncomfortable. But man, really, he invites her to stay with him only for her to find out that he has this whole other family that he's getting married to.
And it ends up feeling like he's almost like showing off.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think that, but you're kind of, it was. Carmen's the one character that feels like there's never a conclusion on. Yeah. She's just got a deadbeat dad and she's just got to learn to deal with it.
Learn to deal with other people, people making these decisions in their lives for them. And unfortunately, everybody has to realize that, I think obviously everybody's situation is different, but it definitely felt like in the movie that like her dad wanted her to come out and see like, what he had done with his life. Like he was proud of it almost. And that's what I meant by like showing it off. I don't know why he would invite her out there if it wasn't to show her that he's doing well.
Well, I think he invited her out to spend time with her. He's trying to like be a good dad, but he's just not good at it. Maybe it was a show off. I mean, he's a real piece of shit if that's the case. There are a couple scenes that stood out to me with Carmen. There was an interesting scene with Carmen coming back to town after her and the dad. She threw the rock at the window. She goes back to town and she's talking to Tibby. And they get into an argument where the two storylines kind of come to full head, where Carmen is venting because her deadbeat father is getting remarried and that she isn't getting any attention or love from him. And the family is just awful. While Tibby is like, well, you should shut the fuck up because this child's dying. Nobody gives a fuck about this thing that you got a deadbeat dad. You've had a deadbeat dad. This isn't anything new. And your life isn't as bad as this little girl Bailey that's dying over here. So just shut the fuck up. And Carmen's flabbergasted that her emo friend no longer is void of emotions and calls her out. And the two cry and separate because there's nothing that can make you cry more than a big old bowl of truth soup being shoved down your face when when you've been lying to yourself your whole life.
Nice. Gotta love that truth soup.
It's just one character that never felt like it got conclusion. She just showed up at the wedding and she had her friends with her and the pants with her and she sucked it up. And she just went in the wedding party and she's like, well, I guess it's my dad. I got to love him because, and this brought it back to another quote that the grandmother said from Lena that I thought was good. The Yaya says, in this life, family is the most precious gift we have. Turn your back on them and you have nothing. And I felt like that quote was almost setting up Carmen having to accept the fact that, you don't get to choose your family, but it's the one thing you have. And you kind of got to
you got to see it for what it is, man. You got to understand it.
Yeah.
You got to understand everybody's going to make their decisions.
She called him out. She got some closure from talking to him, but yeah, no. That's pretty much the film. Those are the characters. Those are the deals.
Did you cry at any point?
I did. I didn't cry. I teared up at the grandfather Lena moment, and for sure at the Bailey moment when she says, the pants already worked their magic. They brought me to you. That was a solid moment for sure.
Nice.
I'll admit. I mean, I wasn't full crying. I don't think other people knew I was crying, but I knew that I kind of had a little,
It watered up a little bit.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But wasn't like a full on, like, oh my God. It was like, God damn it. Keep it together, Jason.
Did you watch the movie with the girls?
I did. They're still too young. They don't really understand. I watched it twice. I think Mom was watching it with me the one time because she was in town for the hurricane that was happening.
You watched it twice?
I wanted to make sure I got everything. I mean,
you're a good kid, man.
Yeah, there's some
you're a good kid.
situations happening too with the kids and everything. It's hard to stay focused.
Oh, okay. What's your rating? 1 to 10.
1 to 10?
Or should we go about it like a PFF rating? PFF. Grade. Yeah, we give it 5
Does it
different.
have an agent?
5 different categories.
What's the agent?
Exactly.
How much are they ponying up?
How much are they paying in? Yeah.
All right, PFF grade for the movie.
Cinematography. What are you giving it?
Cinematography. I'll give it. So PFF grades are out of 100. I'll say
we can just do 1 through 10.
I think it was pretty cinematic. I'll go.
The shots were very cool. The shots were very cool.
The stuff in Greece was great. The stuff in Mexico I thought was well done. I thought the film was well made. Like the acting and everything was good. So I'll go cinematography. I'll go with a solid, like 80s is usually like a starter. I'll go 82. 82 cinematography.
I'm with that.
Okay.
The acting,
I think the acting was pretty good. I mean, there's a couple things, especially with the real young kids early, but I think the acting was pretty good.
Spot on. Yeah. I thought it was spot on.
Go acting 85?
85,
for that kind
85.
of movie? I thought that was a good acting movie.
Yeah. The acting, I think, is what kind of kept me in it. Like sometimes the kids' movies can get a little cringy with the acting. It's
for sure.
Like,
you go back and watch it and you're like, man, this is like so hard to watch.
Fuck, yeah.
But that one, I didn't feel like that. Directing. Directing.
I don't even know how to grade this one.
The only thing that I didn't like at times was that they overstated certain things and emotions that the girls were having that I think didn't need to happen. It got a little contrived in moments. And I think the director is somewhat in charge of how much of that is included. So I'll go directing. I'll go 70, 73.
Sure. That sounds about right. Somebody went to fucking film class. The plot, I thought the plot was cool. I thought it was cool. I think it's a very unique plot. You don't hear these kind of plots anymore in movies.
Yeah.
They just don't, there's no creativity in the people that are writing movies nowadays. Everybody wants to recreate an old story, and nobody's making up just random shit like this.
Yeah. I like the plot a lot.
Kind of not believable, but everybody.
Having magic pants is definitely not believable. I think the plot I liked because again, there's no like evil and good. It was like it's a well thought out storyline of different things that kids those ages struggle with. And I thought it was real. I thought it was really cool that it was a sisterhood. I mean, not many movies focus.
And it was a sisterhood of girls that weren't similar at all.
Exactly. Yeah. They were all very different, but they were united because their mothers went to Lamaze class, which I don't, that's interesting. I think, but it works. And I think it does a great job of showing how people that struggle with those things have to cope with different things that happen in life. And I think we all can connect with these different characters, whether it's us or friends of ours that we grew up with.
100%. I mean, it definitely felt like it was a Cleveland Heights style.
There were
movie.
multiple people in the movie where I'm like, this person is this person. And whenever it's like that, they're doing a good job writing that thing.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So plot, listen, I don't really like chick flicks, and the sisterhood thing, I didn't think I was going to like. I think it's pretty good. I think I'm going to go for this kind of movie, 91.
Okay. All right. Nice.
I'll go 91.
I thought it was 90s worthy.
Character development. I think this is the strongest part of the movie.
100%. Yeah. They'll give
strongest part. I'm going to take back my plot. Okay. Character development, 91. Plot. There's a couple things that are just ridiculous. Like the 17-year-old in Mexico. And I'm going to go plot,
This dude's out on sending his kid to Mexico.
Plot.
A solid 80 sounds about right.
Yeah, we'll go with an even 80. What's the overall PFF grade of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants? I think it's an 80 movie. I think it's an 82 movie. 82 movie.
82 sounds about right.
Right? It's better than...
Your grade,
The
your
math
PFF...
checks out to an 82 average. You guys are dead on.
No, it does not, does it?
I listen, you're talking to somebody who did not do well in math, and I think I nailed it. 82. I think my iPhone calculator nailed it.
Well, that's funny. All right. I guess we nailed the PFF overall. It's a good movie. It's a good movie that ages well, I think, that tells storylines that are important for women and friendship and people that are going through that part of life. So all in all, I think 82 is a solid score. Yeah.
It was almost nostalgic, and I love watching movies from the early 2000s and 90s and childhood because it's kind of like you can put yourself in that era of like life.
No doubt.
And then on top of that, like the cinematography and like how people are dressing and things like that, like you can go back to that part of your life. And honestly, we were growing up in middle school and high school as these girls were at the same time. So it's kind of right around our wheelhouse of relatability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe did they ever make the Brotherhood of the Traveling Jock strap or something? Like
we can write that book.
Yeah, there we go.
Brotherhood. Hey, I'll send it to you unwashed.
Oh, the bowling shirt. Yeah, the Brotherhood of the Bowling Shirt. Yeah,
bowling shirt.
Everyone had just one good bowling shirt. That.
All right. Well, we gave our reviews. Let's take a look at some of the Letterboxd movie reviews from Idris. It sucks, but I cried.
This is all from that was from 2016.
Yeah, this is an old one. From Casey. They didn't wash the jeans, ? So Casey had some similar problems that you had with the unwashing jeans.
But gave it 3.5 stars.
2.5 stars from Keegan Broadway. Turns out pants can't cure leukemia.
That's
you missed the point of that, Keegan. You missed that one, right? Okay. Well, harsh critic there, Keegan. Okay, Lindsay, 4.5 stars, which is pretty much an 82.
Literally.
Tibby, I made a new friend who helped me grow as a person and accept myself. I then had to grieve the death of this young child who I have grown to really, really close to. Well done. Carmen, I had to come to terms with the fact that my father abandoned me and has now replaced me with a privileged white family who have been subtly racist towards me all summer.
Subtly?
I never properly let myself be angry with him until now when I pushed to my breaking point in our relationship. I mean, they're nailing this one. I've been trying to run away from dealing with my mother's suicide by ignoring my feelings. I spent the summer putting all of my attention into an unhealthy relationship with someone older than me until it all came crashing down on me. I'm scared that I will make the same mistake my mother made. Well done. Lena, met a cute grease boy. These pants were truly magical. Blessed.
That's, yeah. Well done.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Lindsay, well done. That does it. That does it for our first movie review. I think we did good. Trav, what did you think?
I don't know if people are going to find this interesting. So tell us if we need to switch this thing up or if
this is
maybe we just do a movie that's maybe got a little bit more comedy to it and it's not as sad, or, if you guys want to hear some juicier stuff. But
an Arnold movie? All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That wraps up this Wondery Plus exclusive episode of New Heights. And a reminder, as Wondery Plus subscribers, you can listen to new episodes of New Heights early and ad-free right now in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Once again, New Heights is a Wondery show produced by Wave Sports and Entertainment. Follow the show on all social media at New Heights Show with 1S for fun clips throughout the week. And thanks to our production and crew, always and forever, for making us look way better than what we are. And the 92%ers, appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you guys on our next New Heights Movie Club.
That's right. Enjoy
only
these
on Wondery Plus.
Enjoy these 0 ads, because we're about to record them right now. So enjoy not listening to them.